Welcome, everyone. It's the Crypto Lark. Super excited to have the chance to speak to John Mcafee today. John, how's it going?
It's going good. Thank you for having me on.
Absolute pleasure. I mean, you're a legend in the internet space and certainly a legend in the crypto space these days. I want to start off with a simple question. Because I've been following you on Twitter, and you always seem to be popping up somewhere new. So, can you tell us where you are today?
Absolutely not. I mean, I haven't told anyone where we are for 5 months. Not even our
Amazing,
family, not even our closest friends. Nobody knows where we are.
amazing.
My
The man on the move. That's very good stuff, John. It's following you. If anyone's not following John on Twitter yet, you have to. It's following along with you is so exciting. There's so many adventures you're getting up to, and obviously a lot of crazy things happening in your life. But you've been making a lot of waves with cryptocurrencies and really privacy and all this stuff. So we're going to be diving into a lot of these different topics today. But I think one of the first questions we have to start off with is, where do you stand on your Bitcoin price predictions?
I stand where I've always been. Listen, Bitcoin only has 21 million coins max. 17 million have been mined. Only 3 million left. That'll take many years. 7 million have been lost irreparably. People lose their keys, their wallets, whatever. And every day, for every Bitcoin that's mined, 4 are being lost. I mean, I'm just a mathematician. I mean, I just add 2 and 2, and it gets 4. If you have a supply of anything that's approaching zero, and even a constant demand, then the demand is increasing. Run the numbers, folks.
It doesn't leave you much room to go except for up with Bitcoin. I look at the fundamentals and everything else behind it, and the McAfee Johnson line. It's one that I know a lot of people are keeping an eye on when it comes to the Bitcoin price predictions for sure. Now, I want to get your thoughts real quick. If you had to choose between one, I know we're not living in such a crazy world where you have to choose, but would you choose between a good drink or a good smoke?
Oh, me. Well, it depends on where I am and time of day and a whole bunch of other variables. I mean, quite frankly, I would prefer to have both simultaneously, if that's an option.
In the ideal world, it definitely is an option without a doubt. And it's interesting to me to see how this plant, when we talk about cannabis, is still illegal in so many places. I live in New Zealand, and we're going to be doing a vote next year that the government might finally let us be able to grow and enjoy a plant, which is some wild stuff. But I think it really comes down to privacy and the ability to have the freedom to grow and consume what kind of plants you want.
I mean, listen, privacy and freedom have to stop. I mean, not free, but the onslaught, the offenses against privacy and freedom have to stop at some point. And surely they have to stop, no matter how you want to cut the pie, at what a person chooses to put into their own body. I mean, who owns your body? The government implies by saying you can't put certain substances in it that it owns your body. But that's a fallacy. You are yours and no one else's. And this is just one of the natures of reality and the human experience. So any overstepping of that boundary into what you choose to think, believe, read, study, practice, your ideology, no matter how weird it may be, the substances in your body, it's yours, your choice. And governments that fail to see that their power also stops at your door, that what you do in the privacy of your house is your business, which is why all laws against weed, marijuana, have failed. 75 years in America, with some states having penalties up to 20 years. for possession of a single joint. It did not stop anybody. I mean, 25% of the country still smokes and always has. Why? It's called civil disobedience. When a government passes a law which is senseless, intrusive, wrong, morally unjust, or oppressive, then we have a recourse, and it is called civil disobedience. Now, civil disobedience stops at the point where you are impacting physically or in some other way another person. But if you're in the privacy of your house and a law says you may not put a substance in your body, then that is a senseless and wrong law. And civil disobedience gives people the permission to break that law. You have to accept the consequences, but you harm no one. You impact no one except the people in the room with you who choose either to join you or not. And this is where government intrusion must stop, because it can't go any further, even with all the enforcement in the world. It's like you can't enforce. Listen, in America, from 1923 to 1934, alcohol was illegal in America. Big time illegal. Now, more people drank more alcohol during Prohibition than at any time in U.S. history. And it gave rise to the mob, because they were the rum runners of Prohibition, organized crime, and horrendous impact to the American economy, society, and legal system. So governments have to learn eventually you cannot pass certain laws and expect them to be obeyed, because they won't.
I think there's a saying around something like a just man should not follow unjust laws. I'm deeply paraphrasing that, but it really comes down to individual freedoms. And I think that's where so many people get so excited about Bitcoin. I totally agree with everything you have to say about cannabis there. I want to move the conversation a little bit about privacy and rights and cryptocurrencies, because we have seen different governments banning or, banning at the point of sale, basically. Obviously, they can't stop Bitcoin, but saying, well, you're not allowed to buy or sell it here in our country. And the inalienable right of financial freedom, I think that's something that's a super interesting topic, and also the privacy that comes related to that. So can you speak a little bit on the idea of privacy and rights related to Bitcoin ownership?
Well, let's not use Bitcoin. Let's use cryptocurrency. I mean, there are 6,000 coins out there now. Bitcoin is one of them. It's one of the older ones, and in fact, it is the oldest, and the architecture is very, very inflexible compared to the newer blockchain architecture. So let's just use cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency offers people, for the first time, a golden opportunity to free yourself from the financial slavery that you find yourself in. Now, many people don't think they're even in financial slavery.
It's the Matrix.
They're making lots of money. They're making lots of money, got a car, they've got a house. But what is the cost of all of that? You are using a currency owned by and controlled by 100% some other agency other than you. And cryptocurrency offers a decentralized, meaning no one controls it. There's no boss, there's no owner. The mathematics underlying the structure of these coins is what controls it. And that mathematics is designed to guarantee that these transactions in this currency require no trust. They're trustless. Think about this. You don't have to trust the person you're doing business with, because these are trustless transactions. You have no one capable of inflating or deflating the currency by their whims. The Fed can increase the supply, decrease the supply. They can monitor your movements through the central banking systems. You have no freedom financially. But cryptocurrency offers you an opportunity for a currency that can't be controlled. Can't be, if you use the correct coins like Monero, privacy coins, can't even be monitored, can't be tracked, that offer you absolute anonymity and privacy. And the government then is at the disadvantage rather than you. I mean, you don't feel like income taxes are legal, which I do not and have not paid for 10 years. Well, then use a cryptocurrency like Monero, privacy coin, use a distributed exchange, and no government on earth, no power on earth will ever know how much you've made or where you've spent it. Neither should they know this. You work for your money. I mean, feudal societies, in feudal societies, individuals worked for the king 2 months out of the year. And if the king said, "You're coming to London to help build my castle with 2,000 other dudes," and that's what she did for 2 months. Or the king could say, "No, I'm taking 2 months of the fruits of your labor." Same thing. You grew 1,000 potatoes this year. Well, we're taking 200 of them. No, that's feudal society where you're owned by the king. When the income tax was passed in 1913, against every conceivable interpretation of the Constitution, which blatantly says Congress shall pass no laws to impede or inhibit a person's ability to earn a living. If you're taking 2 months of my wages, and I'm working for the government for 2 months, I'm sorry, that impedes my ability to feed my family and earn a living.
And
So,
one of the worst parts I think we see about taxation is that there's really no representation left with taxation, which was, the rallying cry originally of the founding fathers, no taxation without representation. But now we have this tax system coming in, and there's almost no control of a regular citizen over the machinations of government. So you're paying for all these things which you might be totally morally opposed to, but you have no choice. If you oppose the mafia, which is the government in this
yes,
situation, men with guns will come and put you away.
yeah, unless you're using a privacy coin and cryptocurrency, in which case they won't know. It's up to you to say. If you want to tell the government exactly what you made, then go ahead, be my guest. If you feel like the government's income tax is unconstitutional, immoral, and unjust, use or narrow. And don't tell them anything. No one can ever figure it out. Do you understand how simple and yet how powerful cryptocurrency and privacy coins can be?
Cryptocurrency is the ultimate civil disobedience of the monetary system. This is the thing. Buying and
Yes,
holding Bitcoin is a protest vote.
yes, but unfortunately, we will be shut down unless we take the reins in our hands because governments are starting their own cryptocurrencies. Now, do you think that the Chinese yuan, which they've already started developing and announced, the yuan, the crypto yuan, is not going to monitor every single penny that you make and spend? Yes, it is. And so will the crypto dollar when it comes. And it will. We all know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have to use it, even if they force us to. Because this is the same thing as smoking weed. They say you may not, we're making the use of Monero illegal. How are they ever going to know? I mean, please, God, do you see the futility of making such a law? And they will. Or they're going to say that you must use only the crypto dollar. Well, this F you, absolutely not. You may do as you wish in this world. Cryptocurrency and the blockchain came from the people. It is a technology developed by a group of fewer than 1 dozen individuals over a 5 year period, none of which worked for a secret government program or for a large corporation, which is where every major world changing technology has come from for the past 100 years. Name one: nuclear weapons. Um, Everything has come from our government or corporations, but not the blockchain and cryptocurrency. This is ours, developed by the people for the people. And we have the facilities to use this to shrug off government control. And we have time for one more question, my friend.
One more question. One more question. Well, let's go with you've launched or are part of something called Whacked, which was about Jeffrey Epstein not killing himself. Can you just give us a little bit of insight onto what Whacked is all about? And I guess this kind of feeds in a bit as well to the overall society control matrix and all the crazy stuff that's going on out there. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, this is the last question. But whacked. Okay, so whacked is it's a joke. It's like Doge, the Doge coin. It's a joke, but it's a joke with a purpose. I think the Jeffrey Epstein affair. It is so obvious that he was killed. You know, he's 6'1". He hung himself in a 5'7" bunk. Please, how do you do that? In such a way that he broke his neck in multiple places, indicative of forced strangulation. His cellmate was removed the day before. The guards did not bother to come down into the cell, even though they were supposed to. And the final resort, which is, well, let's check the security cameras. Every single camera was misaligned. Not one showed his cell or the hallway leading to it. Now, please, what kind of security system is that? No. So I did the whack coin because the meme was running around. We need to probe this. Why a mistake was made. It was done too hurriedly, too fast, out of fear from those politicians that were anticipating Epstein's testimony in cooperation with authorities. Can't let that happen.
It really goes to show that no one is above being killed. Comes back to that old
No,
Godfather
so
quote: "No one's untouchable," right? And
once
they will
in
get
this,
you.
not in this world, you're absolutely correct. So I did the coin just to keep it going because this will unwind. They have already arrested 2 of the guards in the jail. This will unwind. I know they made a mistake. It was too fast, too stupid, and made too many mistakes. And we need to unwind this, people. So the whack token, just another meme. Please, people, let's get this Jeffrey Epstein. But we made it cleverly. Oh, not clever. I'm sorry. That's patting myself on the back. But no, we made it with fun, so that every transaction, 10% of the transaction gets whacked and sent to the burn box, the burn address. Um, 1 out of every 1,000 transactions, the whole transaction gets whacked. You lose everything, right? So it's a risk. If you transact, you're going to lose something. End of story. But it's to keep the pressure on the media to pay attention. Let's unwind this. Let's get behind what happened to Epstein, because in doing so, we're going to find out a lot of sick, twisted shit that's happening inside our government. And thank you so much for having me on. I've really
Thank you
enjoyed
so
this.
much, John. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.